We're here tonight. This is your land use meeting, Community Board 5. I'm Brother Paul Muhammad. I'm the co-chair of land use. Vivian Wright's not here tonight. She still has a husband staying prayer that's infirm. He's going through very serious kidney issues. She can make it sometimes she can't. She's tending him. To my left, the guy with the very popular gentleman with the phone right there. we're going to introduce committee members. Look at it. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, Miguel Feliciano, first vice chair, and of course, a proud member of the land use.
Okay.
Ro Johnson, proud member of Land Use Committee.
Adams and Land Use, DYC Department.
Right behind you. What she got here?
Sandra Bingo, and I'm part of the land use committee.
You're a CB5 resident, member of Land Use.
All right. You're coming on. Are you still on committee?
She told me
There's
got too
seven.
many people.
All right. Well, welcome. Any community members here for the first time? Hey, hi. We're waiting on you. What's your name?
Jacqueline.
Yes. Do you live in the community?
I live in the community.
Great. You bought a home?
No.
Oh, yeah,
I'm a student.
You're a student. What school you go to?
City Tech for Human Services.
Oh, wonderful. Glad to have you. You live close by?
Like 20-ish minutes.
Great. So you're in CB5. You know that, right? You're great. You're going to be a regular? You're going to come regular?
Also, yes.
We're going to hold you to it. Next to you, please.
I'm not new.
That's okay.
I come when I can, but I'm a resident.
Are you a member of the committee?
Yeah.
Which one?
All of them.
You just come to the meeting. You didn't join the
Yeah, when I
committee.
can, yes.
All right. Somebody's trying to hide with a green hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not hiding. Hi, this is my second meeting here. I'm not a member yet. I did apply.
All right.
And I
Excellent.
live in Pennsylvania. From Pennsylvania.
You work or you live?
Live.
Excellent. Back there, the radical one back there with
My
that.
name is Ethel I'm a resident of East New York.
Yeah.
Yes,
And are you a member of the community board?
not yet. I
Okay.
did fill out the application to
Very
join
good.
the community board.
And right here, now, I had saved her for last because when I came, well, when I was already in the community, but when I started getting active, she was already very active. This is one of our pillars of the community.
Yes,
We work
indeed.
very hard for over 20-some years with a tag team that we're proud to have served us, the Barons. I'll let her introduce herself.
Anna Fisher, community resident, activist, and very much involved in community and everything happening in it.
Yeah, some people can say it, and you think they do. I can tell you witness that she do. Thank you so much for that. It's hard work. Okay, that gentleman behind the camera.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Velasquez. Everyone knows me as Joey or Joe. 2 weeks ago I signed up for the social media chair, so I'm part of that now.
Excellent.
And I also did the application, I just had to do the 20 minutes political chair.
Well, thank you, Joey, because Joey's always on
Yes.
around, always showing up, always has strong comments, and always. We have another gentleman we refer to as Mr. Rowe. He's behind the camera. He supports his wife, so this is what I love. This black man supports his wife, but he's very quiet about it, but he's always on deck. Yes.
My name is Derek Johnson, by the way. I handle all the media, not all the media, but a good portion of it, for CB5.
Thank you.
Thank you again
Thank
for that. Thank you. And another face that I'm seeing in a lot of committee women.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Mormon. I'm new to the community. I just moved here from Brownsville. My name is Kimberly.
Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. Well, we're supposed to be getting some updates. I thought tonight we were supposed to get a presentation. Look, updates and progress of construction in the urban village. This urban village that's on Linden Boulevard in Pennsylvania. Everybody know where CCC is?
Yes.
The picture? Well, years back, I guess we're gonna go, I say 5, when they initially came to us with the project, what they wanted to do. So it was 5 years ago. And Pastor Bernard, world famous Pastor Bernard, and the church, the congregation, the mighty congregation, had an idea what they wanted to transform the land that they had there and they built it to housing that was affordable to the community. That was the project. So they came up with an idea. This is very, very, very audacious plan. They planned also to have ability to have some ownership in there. They were talking about some, what's the name of those houses like I said a minute ago?
Start.
No, they have a little bit miniature inside. Masonettes. Masonettes are like small townhouses that you can purchase to own. We had some good conversations with the pastor and his development team to get it into a process where we thought it would work for a whole community. And lo and behold, we did come up with a plan. Some of the things to let you know we had to hash out, which is just like all the plans that come in our community. And they had a lot of studios, and the studios were so small. We call them small. We call them senior cells. For senior apartment, it was senior cells, under 350 feet. There's another person. I'm gonna stop my conversation. Just came in the room. They had her own theme music when she came in. Y'all didn't hear it, but they introduced herself to us. But again, this is a long time serving the community and been active, been active on both ends and holding down. She's done a magnificent job her first year, last year as the chair. Community work first, black woman I think she burnt herself out because she made every committee meeting. I would say this again. The woman would. We had 8 committees. She was at every one, and general board, and executive board, for the first year of her tenure. On the job. It's not on the job training, she had on the job activity. I think at times, it took a toll on her. And I was the one to particularly try to help her with that. The heart and spiritual service community will wear you out. You know, our people will wear you out. They look at you. I knew you couldn't take it. What? Man, you wore me out. You were just waiting for me to fall in. So again, we know the passion, we know the love. Can you introduce yourself?
Alice Longman, Chair of Community Board 5, proud Chair of Community Board 5.
So again, also we're just doing the introduction, but to catch up earlier, we're touching on a few things that were asked a question about CCC. We thought they were coming tonight to do the presentation, give us an update. I don't see anybody here yet, so we'll give them a few more minutes. If not, they're gonna have to come in because we told them within 60 days between now and April, because they wanted us to give them work variance to work on the weekend, so while they get this. Well, to do that, we know that Flatlands, you have neighbors, so we want to be respectful of the neighbors that are there, the business owners that are there, the supermarket, the shopping, that makes it a little disruptive. So give us an update. They've been pretty good partners now. They just had a graduation with having folks from Man Up and other organizations who actually were working with a group there to get folks into actual job skills. So there's I've got the name of the program, but they work with Man Up, they work with Bill Wilkins, and Monadnock, and those developers that are working on that site. So we do see they trying to work to actually engage. I tell people say affordable housing. My language is ain't a damn thing affordable without a job. So that's it. Yeah. And we're not even talking about a job. Nowadays, living in New York, you need a trade, a skill. You need to have that kind of skill. So they were giving access to folks utilizing that project and utilizing those developers to actually get some folks actually into the skill trade to move forward. So I applaud that. Someone agreed, as we agreed to land use, okay, we do deserve the consideration to get a chance to work on Saturdays to expedite the project, but we wanted an update on the status of how it's going. Julia asked a great question. Remember we were talking about the height originally about that project. We didn't want it higher than Starrett City. We wanted to keep it down like about 12 or so. R6489321. Julia said we gotta be careful. Julia said we gotta be careful, it might go to 14. So we're gonna have to check that, make sure that's working right. And again, just give us an update on what's going on. One of the things we wanna make sure we also stay ahead with that project is anytime there's a chance to have equity, ownership, we want to make sure the playing field is level, so everybody's informed, timely to get to that process. Within that, they will talk about those masonettes, buying those little townhouses when it's up. That was a big thing for us, and we're gonna follow up on the fact that those numbers that actually jive what we were saying. Originally, they had more studios, 2-3 times more studios than it was one bedroom. We went in to flip that and the size. So we're gonna check and make sure all the numbers are still jiving and adding up to what it should add up to. So this is part of the updates that we're wanting from them, and it gets the scope when we get. So I don't know if they're gonna get here, but we can move on to a couple of things. I'm gonna reiterate that. Just say it again for those who didn't come in. At land use housing, we like to engage the folks when they come in on these process, but we like to follow up. Everybody makes a lot of promises, and you don't see them again. We want a long memory. We don't have short memories, because these developers, they come back, you know, they ABC, LLC today, tomorrow they DCF. But I'll see that same face when they come in here presenting. You know, I've seen that happen before. So, no, you ABC, now you LLC, I don't care, it's you. So we have a bad player, and I'm gonna say it out loud, the bad player, Allison. What's that Radisson Group name? What's the name of that? No, that's the name of it. No, what's that building? It's got another name.
That's it, Radisson.
Okay. Well, you know where we're saying Linda right
Wood
next to Linda Wood Dine with the Planet Fitness on the floor. Again, this guy came in with a audacious plan. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna work with you. We're gonna local hire. I was really salivating because he had this 15,000 square feet. We're gonna be a daycare and pre-nursery up there on the top floor. And we stayed in touch with him. He fired, or there had been a lawsuit with the local security company that was working with them. They turned around, we haven't seen them as far as coming back to the community, give us an update. We're hearing things about assisted living in the building. We have no contribution from them. The community just isolated alone. The daycare never materialized, and they got this beautiful penthouse thing going on top of it. No. So we reached out, the chair, she's reached out, I reached out, the district man, no response. So we decided that with the chair, district manager, myself as land use, decided we're gonna have HPD pay for this. Let the agencies that are money. Again, folks, these people are doing us any favor. These are your tax dollars that they're getting subsidies to build these buildings on, and they're getting rich off the process. We really have to really examine what's happening to us. I have to say, give it to you straight, they're pimping us. Straight pimping. No, you can laugh, but they're pimping you with the game. They're getting your tax dollars to build buildings that charge you prices you can't afford. And they're getting ownership. Remember that. So we have to stop the bleeding, stop the pimping. No, hold up, stop right now. You know, so we're looking at folks like that. We're really examining this. So that's one of the people. So we read HPD. The second person on our list that we've asked and had here, what's the name of the group for the movie theater? What's their name? There's something Sure. See how she knows the name like that? See, I have to comment that. Shore Parkway. He came in land use, spoke with us. The chair spoke with them. They gave us an idea about they were going to build a supermarket. Food Bazaar, right there. You know where our movie theater. Hi. They were going to build a Food Bazaar. So we looked for them, and they came in. Okay, yeah. They didn't mention the whole housing plan. Then we found out through grapevine they're talking to elected officials about housing plan. Please have a seat, sign in. Thank you. So they now they talk about housing, and they come to us with it. We're just hearing them out there on the grapevine. So what we did hear, and they made a big mistake because they got a lot. Well, not just doing it to any part of the neighborhood, but they happen to put these toxic trucks right in front of where our illustrious chair sleeps at, her family, and it's not smelling too good. These trucks are we're not sure what they took. See, again, when they have no permits, when they're trucking and you can carry all kind of toxic waste, so you don't know what's in those trucks anyway. And that's why they don't park them in some of the other neighborhoods that are more sound the alarm. So we get environmental poison because of environmental racism. Let's say it like it is. So this has been going on for months now. They had kept this around, the grass was growing all around there, then the trucks was running. So we asked them to clean up, they said they would, they still haven't. So we come to the point where we're gonna send sanitation, DEP, fine them. They have no permit that we know of to store these things down there, we're so fine. So that was on our list, and that's something we're gonna be following up with the district manager to send them over there. We haven't got the feedback yet about the Legionnaire's disease on Livonia Avenue to the staff. I did go over there personally. I know the guy who owns Brooklyn Glen. I saw a group over there near that building where it's having Livonia, and there were plumbers over there saying they were doing some work to eradicate some problems dealing with plumbing over there. We hope they've got it. Well, ask her, I think the owners of those buildings, Eminem Dunn, will reach out to them to ask them what's the state situation there to get it, and also check with the department, DEP, that's the water there. They're gonna have it in the department, health department, to get a status on that. So these are some of the things that are coming up that we're paying very close attention to. I'm gonna, yes.
Oh, no.
I saw that pen.
No.
So we're just trying to, right now, tonight, it's gonna look like it's gonna be a short evening, because I'm trying to give them another 5 or 10 minutes to the presenters. We never know what happens with them, but they're definitely, they're on the clock. In the midst of the night, they gotta be here next month, or they will not get their variance. We're not a rubber stamp anymore. We weren't forged like that. This community board 5, I got a phrase for it, that's me. We're militant, vigilant, and vigilant. That's what you have to be for your community. Do not be ashamed of who you are, where you are, and what you stand for. So that's why I stand for that. And so when the folks come to us, we live here. My children live here. My grandchildren live here. And as long as I'm alive, I'm living here. I got a stake in this community, so I'm not looking for anybody to do nothing for me that I won't do for myself, and I will fight for me every day, better believe it. So we encourage that. So these things I mentioned to you, before I go any further, because we're not gonna be long, I'm gonna give folks a chance to speak, and we're gonna get out of here. But before I go any further, does anybody from the committee have any news to bring back, or something they have comment on, or something that is something that we need to share with the general public? I'll start with you, Mr. Police.
Yes. No, you said a lot of things basically that concern me also. In terms of, they make promise to us and they don't keep them. So the idea of staying on track and checking on their, whatever they say that they're gonna do, make sure that that happens. And that's up to us to make sure that happens by inspecting the locations and so on. And I agree 100% that the idea is, and this is something also that I want to share with you guys. There are certain developers that really are responsible and they do, a good job. They do what they say, and the product is excellent products. Okay, those folks, we should work with them. We should work with them. Because sometimes what happens, we're tough with everyone, I think those that are really performing and are doing their job, we should welcome them. We should make the place attractive, have them come back to us to further develop and so on and so forth. But those that are taking us for a ride, those are the ones we have to be very hard with. They're not producing, we give them hell. We make it impossible for them because they have to fulfill whatever obligation they say they're gonna fulfill to us. But by the same token, we should not be so tough with those folks that are in our neighborhood, that are, they're owners of the location here. They are the developers, our developers here. We wanna encourage that. And that's very important that we do that. And as a group, we could make a lot of difference and bring a lot of investment into the community because people feel comfortable to invest here. Because we're gonna support them and so forth. Because if we're too tough, they're gonna go, they take their money somewhere else. We don't want that, okay? That's what we want.
Thank you for that. Anybody else on the committee have any comments? No, please.
I was wondering, so.
Keep signing.
Full year of me attending land use last 6 months as a member of the committee. I was wondering,
is it possible for the committee to create a set of minimum guidelines for all the mini ULIP applications? Every single ULIP application we've discussed, that the same concerns are raised.
Right.
And so it would just be a little bit more productive, I feel, if coming in, all applicants knew we have an expectation for parking, and we understand that it's no longer necessary, but we do have the expectation. We have the expectation, especially if you're gonna be seeking Ella to finance your properties. At the very least, these are the social groups that we want in terms of your social service. You know, this committee has always prioritized seniors, single parents, and Chairwoman Loman is always prioritizing the mid-range. You know, like, we can create guidelines, we can set some type of standard, it would just make the conversation go a little bit faster, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more productive.
Oh, that's well taken. You already are very good in,
We have
well,
that already.
we have it, okay, good. We can rehash it, but I know that you hit bullet points. I've seen your notes. Can you just send me 7, 8 notes? Because what it does, it helps refresh it. But we know that when these folks come in, we can have it written out all day, but I want it on record, because we're gonna question them on the same thing over again, because I feel like the Indians dealing with it, you know? You understand? Yeah. So you really wanna have them, you know, I know I'm gonna call you a liar, but make yourself one. But the bottom line is that we have to, I like that. Please send those bullet points. Short answer, please send those again, and we'll do the line.
So just to add on to what, committee member Julia said, when we were at 404, we had a questionnaire. And every committee, we sent them the questionnaire prior to them coming to the meeting.
Right.
And the questionnaire laid out everything that we had concerns with. So that's an excellent idea to revamp that again and start sending it out, so that this way when they come before us, they already know, don't come here if you don't have parking. You know, don't come here if you are starting at $120,000, you know, because we have to keep in mind, there is some people in our community that don't make a lot of money, and we don't wanna X them out. There is some people that's city workers that make a decent amount of money. We don't wanna X them out, so we gotta strike a balance.
Yes.
With low income, middle income, going forward, that would be an excellent thing to do for each and every one of our committees. Like when we have transportation, we could do one for them too, because we say no all the time. We say no to certain things and they put them up anyway, you know. They don't come back to us. They'll tell us that they're going to revisit it and come back. They don't come back. Maybe on there, we have a timeline of when they should come back, so that this way they know from the beginning, when they fill out these questionnaires, that this is what's required, and then in 3 months you have to come back to the board. So that is definitely something we should look into rehashing again. Thank you, Board Member Neely, for that.
Anybody else from the committee with any issue or committee? Okay,
I wanna mention something also that bothers me. We went from 50% to 20% of allocation to the community. To me, that's such a drastic drop. And I don't understand why something cannot be done to try to balance that. Because you're talking more than, it's 150% you're dropping. That's ridiculous. How we let that happen?
He's talking about set-asides for what's built in our community. At one time, through the leadership of former council and state assembly, we had this community, and it was for community set-asides. If you build in this community, we want to first access 50% of the building access to come from this community. I'm just gonna give you an answer to that, but I have to watch that. There were folks who filed a lawsuit saying that was unconstitutional to their rights. The city fights lawsuits very diligently for things they want, or when they feel it. They didn't fight that lawsuit. They conceded to the lawsuit and allowed it. The fact, one of the concessions was the sliding scale we have now, from being 50% set aside, now it's down to 20%, going down to 10% of it in the next year, and the totally being gone. Again, I just got to tell you and say it, there are powers that be that don't think like you do. And that's why it's so important that you're here giving your voice. And to lend your voice. There are policies that we're living under, trying as a community to survive. I'm very proud, and I didn't do it on purpose. We live in a community that's represented 97% melanated people. I'm not ashamed of that. Like I said, I go to Chinatown, they don't get mad at them because no Australians are there. I go where I go, they live there, they're happy, I'm bless them. So we have folks, but we're traditionally are the economically disempowered people. East New York, the average age of a homeowner here, I saw this survey, I do a lot of surveys, and less than 10 years ago was 58 years old, close to retirement age on fixed income. So when these things were higher water bills went up, and so taxes went up, it hit the person with a fixed income higher. Even Hakeem Jeffries said something when they were doing the rezoning, which I fought against him. He was saying that he was getting a lot of constituents in his district that owned property that had no more mortgage, but they couldn't afford to maintain it anymore because of what happened with the real estate. You gotta understand, you understand real estate, but when you're talking to folks, you can be minding your business, paying for your home, paying your taxes. Average sale on my home worth about $450,000. Well, let them build that monstrosity next to you, that's 12 stories high. Then the taxes go up because it's what they call the comp value. Since on the same plot of land, your building is worth $450,000, but that building is worth $4 million. Now your taxes go up to compensate. Now you have SCREE and other programs which you need to find out about for seniors and fixed income disabled that can help you offset that. But this is part how they destabilize our community. We are poor people on rich land. Real estate is location, location, location. So what he's talking about, really straight at the root of it, is that this city had a desire to rezone us. Get straight word. I mean, look, I'm gonna lie and get somebody else. I'm gonna tell you straight up. The desire was to take these communities. We're sitting here and we weren't organized to fight. We weren't trained how to fight, and we believe our politicians are God. They're not God, they're people with jobs. I'm like Trump with that one. I hire, I fire you. Fire. If you don't fight for me, if I voted you in that seat, you better vote for me when you get to city council. That's what you need to stay on that accord. Don't just give somebody a vote because they come to your church. Oh, vote me, I'm gonna go get a chicken and I'm gonna give you a party. Have a seat. Listen to the sermon. Let me see if you're going to do it. Then after you finish that, we're going to tell you what we need. See, they come to you and tell you what the party wants to do. You need to tell them what you need. But then we end up being reactive. That's what I'm looking at some folks, like what he was saying, and I'm going to allude straight to it. We have a community developer that wants to build because the policies are already set in place. Everybody here wasn't happy, but we were trying to work with them, but there's still the policies. See, the policies are what control. So you have to understand when you hear the community board, this is an opportunity for you to voice your opinion, react about, but also say what you want to add because you, the community board, under the direction of your chair and with your district man, we have the ability under the city charter to bring your electeds in and organize our voice. And a lot of people don't want the community board to exist like it exists because that's a lot of pressure and power on the politician that the bigger boys control. But if you put the pressure on your city council person, when you bring them in and say, listen, we don't like that. We don't like this. No. He's got to go back and he wants to keep his job next year. So he's going to go back and tell the ones that pull his string down City or in Albany, I've got problems. The natives are restless. You sitting out there, they ain't liking that stuff. I want to keep my job. No, this is the reality. That's why I advise everybody, you want to go see how a community board really works? You want to see some people fight? Go to Bay Ridge. Go out to Howard Beach. Go to Staten Island. See how nice we talking here? Walk out the Howard Beach and say, I want to build affordable housing. They have to get the police to get you out of there. Oh, y'all laugh a lot of things I'm saying because I'm telling you, I've been there. And it's, what the hell? You get snatched. And it's no joke for them because they're fighting for they want what they want. You call them racist, you call them, and somebody told me, well, Paul, we're trying to do a policy that's universal that we're ashamed. I said, not ashamed of who they are. Wolf ain't ashamed because he eat chicken. You might eat fried and stew, but you're going to get on the menu. So what we have to do is take the same type of attitude. Stop begging somebody to do for you what you got to do for yourself. You got to vote. You got to comment. Come in here. Organize with us. We'll call them in state, city, I don't care which one of them. They have the answer. That's the power of your community. That's why they're fighting to get rid of these community boards. Because you put the pressure on the person they got to look at, to keep you calm. But if you start, I don't want that. No. And tell that person, look, I'm telling you, you got a job? I'm telling you, got to see how they talk to them. I wish you would. I've seen them. I was up in the Bronx, I'll finish with this. I was up in the Bronx during the rezoning of they were talking about when de Blasio said he was going to rezone 15 predominantly black, and that's as racist as you can get. Your mayor says, I'm going to rezone 15 predominantly black and Latino communities. Is that racist? Is that saying what he's going to do? And he did it, and every one of those politicians down in City Hall voted yes except one. Inez Barron was the only no vote in City Council. I watched them in the Bronx grab a politician while I was walking up there. No say where. They threw him up on the no say. They told him, you better say no. I said, these my people, man. I'm going to go up there. They moved to the Bronx. They weren't playing with him. He abstained. And he bet not have said yes. But there are people who are passionate. You have to get the same. We have to stop being reactive, be proactive. So again, what we're saying, the policies and what he's alluding to, I believe, is that we had developers come in that were our own folks that own property in here. We watched for years. We didn't like everything about it. The neighborhood's changing. I lost a house, my family house of 56 years because of what happened with these, because they were incentivized these developers to do a backdoor deal where I couldn't collect from tenants I had. Now we got bad players, our own people. We got some professional tenants now. We know we got a folks hand. So, but I got set up and lost a house my family had for 56 years. Then we're seeing, but it's the law now. I was blessed to have another house and survive. But we got to understand, we're all in this together and we have to work, and what he's talking about, we right. We want to work with our own, but we got to watch our own, make sure they don't get that same type of, you know what I'm saying, they can get that same disease called greed. So we can definitely work with that. But again, I'm going to switch it to somebody else. I'm talking too much. I'm trying to get you out of here, but the folks aren't coming in. So
the other thing, I just want to say something else. The other thing is we need information. We lack a lot of information. For example, you know, I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate broker since 1986, and so I've seen a lot of changes in the community. There was a whole bunch of stores, like say, closed stores, like 10 years ago, you know. And I tried to, people were interested, and I tried to approach them. No one wanted to sell. And what I found out, these folks knew what was going to happen. They bought it 10 years ago and they held on to it. They knew what was coming. We didn't know. We were not aware of any of that. And all of a sudden, all this took place. Rezoning took place, and it just took us by surprise. So we have to also make sure that we get informed. We have information. We have to try to do that, because we have to be part of that movement. We have to be part, not be reacting like my brother's saying here, not reacting to after what happened. We have to be part of that growth. And had we known about it 10 years ago, I'm sure a lot of us would have taken advantage and held on to our homes or invested in that sort of thing. A lot of us were not aware of that. So the idea is we need to get information, and we have whatever we have to do that, we have to look into it and try to get that information. Because that's the only way we're gonna hold on to what we have, and that's the only way we're gonna grow here, okay? And unfortunately what happens, a lot of the people that make it in this, they make it, they leave us. See, the important thing is, we have to keep our people here. And as we grow, as we expand, we have to stay here, not leave and go, find other locations. And that's I see is a lot of things. A lot of our, the power that we have is drained because they go to other locations. They claim better locations. But this is our home and we have to protect it. And that's why we have to make sure that we keep. And that's important also, to make certain rents affordable to middle income and even a little bit higher income also. So we could keep that quality of people, our people, that we want in our community, you see? And that's important that we do that.
Thank you for that. Just the other two folks that came in late, you can introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Stand on,
Well, no, you just relax.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Miss Essence Morales. I'm not gonna say too much.
Oh, you
Welcome.
Welcome. You live in the community?
Yes,
Homeowner?
yes.
Oh, great. Excellent. I'm glad you did that. It's good. Hold on. Are you close by?
Yeah, I am.
Great. Just the next person, I saw your hand coming up.
Hi,
Introduce yourself.
my name is Barbara Cofield.
Welcome.
Yes, I live here. I just stopped by, I used to work in the neighborhood, but I'm actually doing my rounds, and you guys just happened to have me here today. I am the housing and land use at Community Board 8, the community.
Oh, you're in Community Board 8?
Yes.
Oh,
And-
wait a minute, you with my people over there. Yeah.
Where's it?
You Lisa Boyd?
Who?
Is Lisa Boyd over there? Are you, what's your board line?
M Top is South.
Where is it? Where's your, hey,
Where's 8? Where's 8?
On St. Mark's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a North Crown Heights Prospect,
See, I told you R486. I told you I did it. Please, Ms. Fisher.
Okay, so just to add on to what Julia mentioned earlier in regards to making a list of certain criteria when these developers come into our community. Most of the time when they build these buildings, they always leave the first floor for retail, correct? And usually people in community can't afford to get it. So that means that somebody's coming from somewhere else. I was part of the Ebenezer Plaza first phase, where we did reach out to.
Tell them where Ebenezer Plaza is. Everybody doesn't know about
Okay, Ebenezer Plaza is located on New Locks Avenue by Powell, Sackman, on that.
Behind the BRC.
So it's on the border.
Where it has a Burger King.
There you go. Okay, so she is the developer there is a black woman, and Ms. Keller. And we had a conversation to the fact, if you're going to be building and bringing in this affordability, how about making the retail space accommodating price-wise, so the entrepreneurs in our community can occupy those spaces? And what it looks like. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have that conversation, because then with however many developers that have put up buildings, and up to now, maybe 5 years later, you still don't have that retail space. Or a city agency comes in there and dominates that area, and we have so many entrepreneurs in our community that's looking for space so that they can grow. And why not? We got enough developers in there, invest in the community, invest in entrepreneurs. Let's have that conversation to see what it looks like. Let's have that vision, okay? Instead of having someone coming from somewhere else, right? Or a Starbucks that's not us, and just come and occupy that space. I think that'd be, your thoughts on that.
especially the size, a lot of these spaces are too large.
And
We need
exactly.
smaller spaces so we can use.
So that, there you go.
that, you know, that conversation, in 2012, one of the founding members of Coalition for Community Advancement. Coalition for Community Advancement, we had already heard about the rezoning of East New York that was coming. Myself, Donna Stone from Linden Plaza, that you see what's happening there, and a few others, we were all, it was an incubator community organization that started by Cypress Hill Development Corporation. And we didn't know, it took folks who were members of churches, homeowners, renters, we came together on this dialogue, because we heard about it. So the Cypress Hill, a nonprofit organization, got us an organizer, and basically we started, I guess, zoning for dummies. You know, I mean, because we didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what the Albany, and I still don't know, but I know enough now. You know, so what we started learning, the fact that, again, that's proactive. Though they had a plan, we actually wrote our own rezoning plan. We actually was able to get Pratt students, grad students, engage them for their credits, when they were doing their grad work, and they joined on to the coalition. They taught us, and we actually learned more about MIH, mentor including Ella programs, all these things that they're afforded to. I got the only Ella, MIH, 3 or 4 of them. Those are developer welfare. Those are developer welfare programs. Your tax dollars, your money. When they say, when you hear that, I like, you know, I dislike, but I like to challenge people. When you say they, who you talking about? They're building that, who's the they? It's not the city. It's not the feds. So who's the they? Those are the ones who know how to access and have their financial and legal wherewithal to actually access those grants and get that welfare money to put that into place. So when you say they're building, they who? That could easily be you if you're organized properly. Like you was talking, I know Ms. Keller over there, and I knew that story behind that. But that took, again, the backdrop of Ebenezer houses is that there was a very strong state and city council person that, oh, see, she's smiling, because I was at Charles and Inez Barron, because your city council person back then had nothing gets built without them signing off. But there's an unsaid law that was utilized with Mayor Adams and Speaker of the Council are trying to get rid of. It's called councilmatic deference. The council person in a district where somebody wants to build, they know they better get that council person's okay, because the city council was always like, if that council person don't go, we're not voting for it. You hear how powerful it is that you get that person? If the developer comes in, whoever wants to build, even the mayor, and I've seen Charles use it on Help USA. He utilized it there. So Charles and Inez were there, and the church owned that land. Ebenezer home, that property was owned by the church. The church wanted to develop it. The church talked to these developers. There was a white developer. I'm gonna say it, you don't have to, I'll say it. There was someone other than, and he wanted to take the majority of that control. Charles and Inez got Ms. Keller involved. And the person didn't want to give her that much percentage of the job. When I'm lying, stop me. So he didn't want to give her that much percentage of the job. Charles and I said, you won't build it without her. Am I lying? Stop me.
Not at all.
So they got the fact that you're having an elected official that has the self-respect and decency to stand on the principle of you as a people. Bar any political level that came from City Hall, which a lot did come, said no. It forced the hand of that developer to concede and put that black woman in a position where she could leverage to do it, and also increase the equity of the church. That's why there's a church on the bottom floor of the center. See, you got to be involved to know these stories. I didn't get a dime out of none of that. a lot of my life and energy went into what I'm telling you, so I can tell you the story without me. That she worked for them. I did, but I made sure I was there. So, but you have to have people who believe in principle more than profit. That stand on it. Your party, I almost said Democrat. The Democratic Party and the Republican both own slaves. None of them was on God. We just believe they both. So when you see the evolution of politics, you see the evolution of how to handle people. You don't see the evolvement of their principle and their godliness. So when you understand that both parties, and most black people voted Republican before 1947. So we have to understand Black History Month, what we're talking about. So when you're dealing with these people that come to your community, you have to have somebody that stands on the principle of truth and the best for you, and that's what you vote for, and that's what you stand for. So Charles and I then pushed the issue. You end up with a woman that was a black woman developer. You ended up with the church getting more percentage that they have now. They have 2 towers that are going up there, and you ended up with something for the community, and you ended up with, it was totally, you could come out of the shelter and get a studio there for $400. Am I lying?
No, not at all.
So how did he do that when it's not happening today?
Why is it not happening?
Who's controlling your politicians? And what mind? You asked me a question. Who's controlling your politicians? And what mind? See? We're gonna have to have that conversation. Land is the key. Land is the key. 2 things you need to live. That's why I'm on this committee. Put me off. They want to get tired. But 2 things you need. You need land and you need food to live. You don't control either one of them, you're a slave. If I feed you and I tell you, you're a slave. You can't tell me nothing. I feed you and I know you can't. So that's why we have to take control. So they did their job. We want other people to do their job. And we're going to help them with this committee and this board. Because we're going to get folks like you to understand the process. You're fighting for your families. Then ask the question. Stand and join her. She'll stand. We don't got a problem now. She'll stand. She let my baby behind sit there. She'll stand. The bottom line is, though, we need you to help her help us help you. We need you to show up, be consistent, come. When you join the committee, show up to committee. Executive members too, the ones who are leadership, we need to be there, front and center. We have to get past our difficulties. There's always going to be difficulties in personal. That's going to come. You know, I got in-laws that are outlaws. But the bottom line is, it's bigger than us. It's bigger. So we're here now. We're going to try to bring this all in. The main thing is that she brought up a question, and I've told you how it worked. And right now, you can go over there and take a look at it for yourself. It's beautiful, beautiful system. And downstairs, you have elite learners. Education. I know Kamara since she came. And you have, I think the guy Q he does the graphics. But you have some young people who are doing things in the community that are in there downstairs, and they came apart part of that. So
that was just an ask.
So that was one. But it came from when somebody says unboards politician, you can talk it, but you gotta walk it. That's why the Barons were, for 21 years, nobody's talking about it. But you look through here, we got 3 $100 million schools, the only community that got increased population of black people in it, the only community that got over 14,000 units of housing that's affordable to this community. That's twice as much as any 3 city council people put there. I know the fact. I ain't a Baron, I'm a fact man. I deal with numbers. I worked in Wall Street for years. Numbers is my thing. You can talk all day. People lie, but numbers don't. So they put that work in. So we are now here trying to follow up in that type of mindset that we need to do for ourselves, and we're going to have to do that. And any other questions before we get up out of here?
Are we gonna follow up with that location over there on Sutter and Euclid, that gas station? Where are we with that?
The one, Study.
The one with the store, the gas, the guy that was doing his own thing in there?
Car wash.
Yeah.
Oh, him.
Yes.
We wrote.
So I know,
Wait.
I spoke to one of the young ladies that live on that block, and they were meeting with, SLA and other people because he's still doing the same thing. I don't know if we can bring him in or not, but we could definitely reach out to SLA to find out what it is that they're doing with him, whether or not they're violating him, but the same problem.
Cause I know it was a long conversation, we had him
Right,
come back a couple
right.
of times, but was anything resolved?
It's still the same. It's still the same. They told him to take down that awning. That was taken down, but they said he has it rested on
And
the
then you
roof of
closed
the
off
building.
some of
Right.
the entrances to the gas station and all that?
Well, they gave them permission to do that with the iron, the wrought iron fence.
Okay.
They did that already.
And I think
We-
he corrected
we
the
pushed-
car wash also
right.
is not coming from Euclid any longer.
Right.
But there's still some outstanding.
He's a mess.
Yeah.
There's
He's a
some
mess.
outstanding.
He's
Okay.
considered a bad actor.
20,000 businesses.
So we hold him as other developers and community accountable
Right.
for.
So the problem with that is that we do try to hold them accountable, right? Same thing with Radisson. We signed off on it. They said they was gonna do the daycare on the second floor. They couldn't find anybody. They got the Planet Fitness, and it was a whole bunch of things that we asked for. We asked for employment for people in the community. Now we can't get them back. I've gone around there, Brother Paul has gone around there. Ms. Perkins has called. We can't get them back. So it's like they already got what they wanted, and now they're not paying us any attention, right? We have to go through now maybe the city agency.
Yes.
Because they have an assisted living program in their building now.
Okay.
During COVID, that was something that was snuck in. That was not a talk when they came to the community board about assisted living. They have security downstairs. They give them a curfew, and they've been coming out of that building, breaking into cars on Drew Street, Loring Avenue, back there where Ms. Brayboy and them is on Emerald Green, all the way around to the movie theater. So, of course, in my opinion, the reason why they won't come back, because those things will be exposed,
Yes, there you go.
right?
True.
So, to expose, rather than them be exposed, they've stayed far away. Just like the Hip Center. We went down to 104 Oxford. They're bringing their whole facility to where the Hip Center used to be on the Boulevard.
Hipson is right next door to this Radisson.
That's still happening, that's still happening?
That's still happening.
Wait, stop.
The building is tore down already.
Right, it's no longer there, so they.
It's no longer there, but they have not started building. However, we, the community board, went down there to see the facility of what they're gonna bring in our neighborhood. And they weren't ready for us. The day of the visit, we were not allowed. Say it again, Ed?
But because in the new facility over here that they wanted to build, they wanted a variance from us.
There you
Yeah, they
go,
wanted
there you
their
go.
area back.
See, that's the power we have. They wanted something else. We went there, let me give you the full drop of that. They wanted us to, they were planning on building on their, they bought the property, but they wanted to bring their senior citizens from downtown with the South Archery, the tennis court, they running the tennis club and everything now. That's very valuable land now. You know, that's luxury housing there. So let's get them out of here. Let's go to East New York and dump in East New York and do what we want to do. Well, they had to come before this board, this land use, and tell us all this. Well, it might be a couple of jobs. We said, well, we just need you to sign off because we want to put a 400 foot or whatever, 40 foot something in front of the building. We have to give them a variance. He said, oh, really? So how many jobs we getting? What's going to, are any of our seniors going to be able to get in this building?
Right.
Well, there was a waiting list. So you need us to sign off on this. How about the jobs? Well, maybe. You said,
You said janitor.
what? So we said, let's see how you living. You know, you want to see somebody move your house? Let's see how you living now. So we went down to South Hartford, all the we all down there. Get there, and oh, we can't let you in because the lawyers did call the other guy. I'm like, you
What?
disrespectful bunch of people. This community door come down here with the chair, and I come in, the chair, we come.
Did he let you in?
Oh, you know why? Because we were seeing some things, how they were living. Because they had a full staff, and then how they were treating people there, and they weren't giving in anything. So there again, that's what we tell you, we stand on what we say. I'm not gonna say anything about any but everybody knows the phrase nowadays, I knew it before, but quid pro quo. You want something, you gotta give up something. You know, that's fair. So they can't go away.
I was gonna say, for two things, for this situation with the bad actors in the Radisson, and for the garbage trucks over by where you were, could a 311 campaign similar to what we are doing at the Cannabis Committee, doing a Google form and like aggressively getting people, like lodging those complaints, and aggregating them so that we can see how many we have? Could that be useful? Because we could create another form and flyer for each of those addresses and announce it in a general meeting, just like we're doing for the cannabis. So
There it is.
that's one thing that I was thinking. The second thing I'm thinking is for Innovation Urban Village, are they, like, do we know what happened to them? And like, then we need to have people that live in that area to make sure that they're not doing it anyway. So like report back to us and let us know that they're not doing it anyway on the weekend.
Well, I live there.
Okay.
We gave them a 60-day extension, so the time enough to do it, they get here within that time. So they're doing it, but your 311 campaign, right on time, write it up, I'm with it.
Okay.
I'm with it, you know what I mean? I think that's an excellent idea.
Derek is doing the flyers.
Well, because that's
another job.
But that's a voice, that's a voice. We don't sit in silence and suffer.
Right.
It's a voice. Mr. Z.
The people from Maxwell Bakery that came, they're not getting the Ella stuff, right?
No.
Okay.
They needed us to sign off for support. We're gonna follow back up with Sandy Nurse, make sure they didn't circumvent us. But again, let me just give you an idea with that. It's another thing. But for, again, we're trying to react to policies that we've been victimized by. I gotta say, we're here after downtown in Albany gave people the rights to do things. See, these city council folks, I gotta say it, I don't care if they're Democrats. I'll say something to you. I've never met a Democratic developer. Anybody know one? Well, how come the Republican developers are so happy with the Democratic administration? And they tell you, oh, it's right in your face. They're right in your face. These are money people. So when you're dealing with this thing, do not get caught up in party, deal with principle and the policy. So the policies we reacted to is right here at Maxwell Bakery. We have a bakery that was done under MIH, editorial inclusion. So happens a group bought that. They're from another community. They know how, they have lawyers that study this, these policies before you even think about them. So they studied the policy, understand how to circumvent, they created agencies already, so when they came here, once they got the property and they got the policy, there's certain things they have to play the game to try to get. And that's where you get a voice, but you already got to deal with them now because you didn't let them in. So one of the things that we're saying that on the first floor, they haven't got enough developer welfare. They want some more welfare. So there's another way to get some more welfare. If you come to the community board and smiles, they're gonna put a supermarket on the bottom, we're gonna have fresh food and everything in the bottom. So being the little nuisance viewer, we go, oh, that sounds nice. The supermarket, are we gonna be able to do it? No, we got a guy already. So we're not gonna be able to get somebody we know this house is? No, we got a guy, where he at? He's right here. Oh, I see that he's from the Bronx. No, same place they're from. So now we got to do the old begging routine. Are we gonna get any jobs? He already got a supermarket. Yeah, it might be one or two get a broomstick up and some fruit. I mean, basically that's what he had to say because he already said he had a 10. He already had a 10. But we just need y'all to sign this.
Fully built hard.
When you read it and understand mathematics, R68342, do it. It calculates that they could go on what, 130% AMI?
They could go to the floor.
Started under 421A, I think.
Basically, they can make tremendous amount of money, and the way that they're structured their organization and the way they know how to work the city, you know how they tell you to go on, what's that, Housing Connect?
Housing Connect, yeah.
Well, they have an organization that's nonprofit that already done screened a lot of applicants for their building. And some languages you may not speak. Can I follow up on it? Your work? Me being nosy.
No, he told us that the supermarket.
I took a look at it like, so, I don't even know how to fill out that application. But they have elected officials in their neighborhood that taught them how to create the organization. And it's no law against that language being what it is. So by the time they get to this neighborhood, to get to that building, they got pre-screened tenants already ready. Your councilman delivered that to them.
So, protocol, since you mentioned the Maxwell site, what were the use groups that they had said they were going to be using prior to the most recent fresh text amendment? Like, cause it was their attorney, Eric Collette, that said those use groups are no longer available. I don't know the cities have eliminated any use groups.
You wanna tackle that, cause I can go.
I'm
trying to hold back something, I'm trying to maintain.
The thing that I remember was that they could add a floor, they could build a whole nother, they already built the floor, but they can make it residential space.
They created FAR.
Yeah,
They've already built it. Like,
Yeah, it's already
he
built.
already said it, it's already built, it was built illegally because they had purchased
Right.
the air rights of one of those properties on
Right.
Fairmont. They didn't include it in the original plan, but to get the fresh market would have just codified that it's a legal residential.
And that's the
Yeah.
big,
And they
But
want
what
you,
were the use groups that were initially approved? Because they did say that those use groups are no longer available, which I just interpreted were not financially lucrative enough.
and I got what you're saying, I could pull up that full plan, but I saw the plan, but you're right, they're trying to maximize it, but it would increase the FAR,
yeah.
and it would give them more unit, it would let them
More rental space.
more rental
Yeah,
space
more
where they
rental
would
income.
have to do it differently.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would maximize developer welfare to get the most out of it, I'm telling you. And that would give them more, the subsidies, when I say subsidy, you say taxes. You say your money. By charging higher rent under the veterans, I'm telling you, the play be played.
Well, I mean,
So-
just to play devil's advocate for just half a hot second.
Right.
That project is as of right because of East New York rezoning. MIH was built into it, so whatever the set aside for MIH under East New York redevelopment, that will be available on Housing Connect.
Yes,
I don't know which options East New York rezoning had, options 1, 2, 3, or 4. Well, 4 is actually just brand new from the council from 2 years ago.
They told us with that development, that it wasn't gonna be available on Housing Connect.
Right.
Because they had their own nonprofit
The-
that was
The
executing the
remainder of the
search.
units
The remainder.
will be available.
No.
They said
With their
none.
nonprofit, but
They-
anything MIH has to go through Housing Connect.
What you're right, it was built, I've gotta figure out what option was built originally, that's what we gotta drill down on that.
And on MIHs, anything under 130% of the AMI.
Yes.
30 is considered
Yes.
affordable in this city.
Yes, and you're right with them adding on that they would not fall under, the new additional units would not fall under the Housing Connect. But they've already, what I'm saying to you, as they have their own management system and how they actually stack the deck originally, it's, where we would get that 50%, say we would, we never got 50% of any building, we might have got 20-30%. And this, like, the way they stack the deck, I don't even wanna go into it, but we probably just get half of what we would regularly get. And then with them adding this additional FAR, what they would do, we would get none of that. So again, they haven't been back, they need, I know how that works, that Ella program, because I saw it on 50 Pennsylvania.
So they're not Ella.
No, they wanted the Food Fresh. But the Ella and the Food Fresh program was utilized in 50 Pennsylvania over there where that so, and that was as of right. That was as of right, because I was.
But the 50 Penn did get an additional floor. They did build.
Yes, they got this, we went.
But this site, the Maxwell, they're already fully built.
They totally
They're
built.
not going another story.
They told
It's
you,
just-
they're not coming, 'cause on 50 Penn, they use two things on 50 Penn. They use that Ella program and they utilize that Food Fresh. This one wants to come back, he did MIH and he wants to come back for the Food Fresh.
Yeah, just
So
to
they built it
legalize.
already.
I know that, I know it's built.
Legal 15 extra feet.
But they have to get the paperwork so they can collect the welfare.
I'm just curious, what did the community say when they initially came that they wanted to see there? Cause it was during that general meeting, you said that, you know, these developers screwed the board over several times already. So I'm just trying to understand, were you guys asking for a daycare there? Were you asking for a school? Were you asking for, you know, 4 different, the commercial space to be divided into 4 parcels? Because I just think not at all, like, I had a very quick, I wanna know, like, what were the use groups that were disallowed that they couldn't get? And
So for that one, I distinctly remember being in that meeting, they came just for the fresh.
Just for the
Just for the fresh. And,
They didn't ask
and
for any.
they weren't asking for any other uses, they just.
They wanted our
for the
signature.
fresh.
Yeah,
They
and
were-
that's
so they could
like,
get the
so-
extra square footage.
like,
Right.
you built this building intentionally knowing that this extra 2 floors
Right.
of space
Right,
was not legal
Right.
from your initial
Right.
thing. So you came here intentionally knowing that you were going to get the fresh certification.
right.
And Eric Palatnik, who for 25 years I have respected, said to this board that those use groups that the board wanted are no longer available. So what were they? Because I don't know any
I
use
don't
groups.
recall no.
I don't remember that. I recall that they built it, they had already built it, and they came to us with the fresh program,
To
asking
codify
us
those 2 floors.
asking us
Yes.
to vote for the supermarket
Right.
so that they could get those 2 additional floors
Right.
of rentals. And
Right.
we said no, because we
Right.
started asking questions about the building, and we realized that we wasn't gonna be in the building, that the supermarket wasn't necessarily designed to reflect the community.
I mean,
And they
if
had
they
the
had
super.
kosher food, it could have been kosher and halal.
All of
Very
that.
similar, but he already had, that we had no say in who the vendor.
You already had his vendor or everything when he
The
paid
vendor-
you.
He had the vendor here already.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you were.
I understand exactly what you say. You're going back to definitely dealing with that rezoning and the things that happened during that MA. 2 things. One, the borderline, and we're gonna close out. The borderline of East New York, and the period of time the rezoning went through, they had a person that actually rubber stamped it. Raphael Espinal. From Pickett Avenue all the way to Highland Park, Mr. Espinal was the city council person. The 10% of the rezoning was approximately in the Barron's district, which she voted no. But we have comments. I don't care if I don't care about zoning when it comes down to people's lives, because I can spit across the street and I'm in a different zone. So it's still the same person's life. So what happened was they did what I told you that councilmatic deference. They utilized it and got Espinal to go along with the rezoning of East New York. Then they proceeded, after he signed off on it, he quit. He left this alert. There were deals being made every day. Norma Diaz took over for a year. And they were making deals straight with their city council office. These folks that were dealing building on that side of the district. Some things were circumventing the board. We didn't hear about it. We didn't hear about 50 Penn till after it was done, because it was built as a right, but they had to still come back to the board for the freshmen. So I hear what you're saying. The question that we want to drill down on, it was a giveaway, and for me not sitting in a room actually watching what they did, but seeing the results of what they did, there were backdoor deals made with folks and got this thing done. So, folks.
And also, with that property that Julia's talking about, they blatantly said, because I asked about how do we get applications so that we can put in, so that we can get those apartments, and they said, no, that was not available. They had their own non-profit that was taking care of that part of it. So pretty much, they just came to us to get the extra,
Rubber stamp.
To get the extra floors.
to get the extra floors, which we said no to.
Did they disclose the nonprofit organization name?
Say it again?
Did they disclose the name of their nonprofit
Don't
organization?
recall.
On their website, but I can't read it.
What language is it?
In my studies, I do a little Arabic. It looks like
okay.
Hebrew.
I will talk to you.
No, I read a little Arabic. It looks close to Hebrew. No,
So I wanted to say something, before we get out of here. First, I would like to thank everybody for coming out on this frigid night. Really thank you for that. We have the land use meeting the third Tuesday of every month. Bring your neighbors, bring your friends, so that we can grow. We have a website, a YouTube page, not a website, a YouTube page, which is CB5-ENY. CB5-ENY. Please go onto the YouTube page and subscribe. So whatever meetings you don't make, you can go in there and you can hear like shorts of what happened at the meeting. So things that interest you or things that you want to be kept abreast of what happened at these meetings, please, 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 sir, ma'am, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, your family, your community. If you live in a TA or NYCHR, that is a way that they can get involved as well, so that they know that the community board is working for them. We work for you guys. So your interest is our interest. When we vote with you guys in mind, whether you're in the room or not, and this is living proof that you can hear and see what it is that we do here at Community Board 5, at least under my leadership. Transparency, we want involvement, inclusion, and together, this world that we're living in right now, this world that we're living in right now, we all have to look out for each other. Look out for your sister, look out for your brother, look out for your neighbor. We all have to come as one. Because we are under attack.
And we're going backwards.
Okay?
We're going
It
backwards.
has to be unity in the community.
Yep.
It has to be. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it back over to the co-chair of land use, but I just, as the chair, wanted to thank you all for coming out and let you know we need you. We need the community. Your input is very important to us. Brother Mohan.
Thank you again. I can't say it better than she said it. One thing I want you to include when you bring your children. you got some children sitting home that are 12, 13? They need to hear.
Yeah.
See, I was,
Good point.
I'm a 60s baby. I watched the civil rights revolution on television, black and white. So I don't need nobody to tell me. I saw people with dogs. I saw what we went through. When the child raised up in a conscious awareness to understand there's a fight, you get a different type of citizen. You get a different type of, if you got teenagers, bring them with you. Because we're looking to recruit juniors and seniors in high school, and so we want them on the board. We're looking, because you have to instill that consciousness that's going on. You have to. There's a fight. You have property. You better have a child who wants to fight for it. You never know what's going on, what you're going through. So I encourage you to bring young people, friends. Bring them. Because there's things that concern. We have 8 committees. List them up. I'll put you on the spot. With 8 committees.
Cannabis, management review, parks and sanitation, aging and health, land use and housing.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Safety.
Education, public safety, and transportation, and we have communication.
Economic.
And we have economic development, and now we have communication.
Yes.
And, what else? The nominating committee was just.
Well,
the-
no, we talking about the committee.
Okay, those are stand, ad hoc.
So there's a list
Okay.
on there on the table.
She gave them all.
Of committee meetings. The whole gamut of what it takes for life. It's very, very important. Because there's so many things that are going on, and I encourage you, get into youth. If you see a community with no youth, you see no future. And our youth are being targeted. Your future is being targeted, and you need to arm yourself with information. The scripture says, we're doomed for lack of what?
Knowledge.
Okay, so I'm gonna thank you for coming out. We had memories, we're supposed to have a presentation, we didn't have it. It's old business, we discussed the fact of certain players, we want them to come back. Chair touched on it. We will be pushing for the district manager, not just to call them again, we're gonna put the agencies on them, HPD, sanitation, public. You don't wanna come, we'll send somebody to visit you, you know? I know somebody used to tell me a long time, put a devil on a devil.
And the 311 campaign.
311, so that's how we would definitely begin to continue to move. Again, please don't hesitate to come to your community board, check the meeting schedule on the sign over there. Again, thank all the committees over there. I would like to entertain a motion.
Wait,
Oh,
our general board meeting is February 26th,
Next
which is
Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
Is that on that sheet?
It is.
All right, well, she just gave the public service. Public service, I told you.
Motion to adjourn.
Again, thank all our media team for that, give them a hand again. Unpaid.
We don't know what we would do without the
You
Johnson.
gotta get.
I thank you.
Good job.
Thank
Good job.
you.
Okay, thank you again. Like I entertained the motion.
Joseph.
Joseph. Like they say back in the days, you ain't gotta go home.
Gotta get out of here.
Thank you, sure.